All right, we are starting, and I just had a phone call with Garrett, and for some reason, Restream is not letting Garrett in, so he'll be in the chat there. So I do have a delay here, and I have a delay from my message to my stream to for everyone to see it. But regardless, we're going to have a great show. Garrett will be in the chat. And what I want to do is really start with to figure out where people are at right now while people are joining. And so I am located in Las Vegas. I moved here about, I want to say about 10 months ago. So I moved from Atlanta. Well, I actually went to Atlanta, to California, where I used to live, and then over here to Nevada when the house was built. And Nevada is pretty weird because it was uh, last year it went to 120 degrees. It was pretty hot, it was kind of crazy. Then it got kind of cooler. But now it's really, really nice. The school here is nice. My daughter's real happy with it. Garrett, if you want to post down where you're from, let me know. And then also anyone else, if they want to say where they're from, just to get this started here. And I was making sure that it worked on LinkedIn here. Let's just get this thing started here. I'm actually double checking on LinkedIn because my phone just crashed. Oh, we are getting started. I see it starting already. So I try to enter it, and it looks like everything's going. So today, I want to go ahead and talk about a couple different things. And one thing that we did, we created a 90-day client acquisition program, and for years, it was different programs that we built, short run, long run, learning really, really what works. And we found out that multi-channel systems that provide value are very, very helpful. So a lot of customers want interactions and conversions right away. But at the end of the day, you want a system and a process that brings you clients on a regular basis. And we're basically going to go under the hood with that. So, Garrett, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. You're in Texas. Lisa, where are you from? You are on a whole different country, I imagine. And so, there's a couple of things that we're going to end up giving away. And what I'm going to do is share the screen here. And I'll bring the screen over. And there's a few things that we're giving away today for door prizes. We'll be going through this full guide, but we're not going to take too much time on this. And so if you have questions, feel free to schedule some time for if you want to talk shop. And Lisa, if you can, go ahead and drop that link in there. But we'll talk. But the main thing that we'll be discussing is how to convert your vetted to more vetted booked meetings. So if your calendar looks like to the left, you want it to look like to the right. And the more vetted book meetings, when we're talking about vetted book meetings, we're talking about minus the tire kickers. And so that's very, very important to kind of drive those meetings with the right people, with the right target, and that sort of thing. And so we have all these different slides, and we'll end up going through quite a bit for systems and that sort of thing. And this guide will be available for you if you ask for it. And so if you're interested in getting the door prizes, just type in door prizes on the chat, and I'll make sure that we send you a direct link to this guide, as well as a LinkedIn daily guide. This is a brand new guide that we just updated. We've already had about 10,000 downloads. So another issue is a lot of times people don't know what the heck to do, and they're monkeying around all day on LinkedIn and other platforms, while they could probably knock out 4 or 5 hours of work down to an hour. So this is really about creating a daily process and reducing your time. The third thing is Scoop, and it's an application that we built that converts a lot better. So we're talking about up to 10 times better conversion, because video converts better and personalized video converts even better. And it has a built-in CRM, and I'll show a little bit of that when we get started. Now, typically, so this is the daily process guide right here. And basically, you check off what you want to do, what you don't want to do. And there's descriptions on everything. And a lot of it has videos in it as well. So that's a very powerful guide. And as far as Scoop is concerned, and I'll give you a quick view of Scoop here. It is an application that goes over your computer and allows you to do instant messages, instant video, makes you very human, and has a built-in CRM as well as a content creation tool. The two major areas on LinkedIn that drive movement and conversations is your content and then your actual DMs and conversations and other things that interact with that. So I don't want to dive too much into that. Just wanted to show that to you. I'll get this out of the way and stop sharing. There you go. And so what I'm going to do is load up the presentation. And typically I would talk about Garrett. Garrett Miller is someone I met probably Garrett was about 8 months ago. And he is a specialist in high ticket sales. And I'm a specialist in high ticket systems that get you to the sale. And so we develop a number of different systems. And through the years, we find out what's happening now that really works. And then what are the underlying values that always work. And then Garrett really trains people on how to close that deal and create processes and thought processes in order to do that. So I think there's a number of different steps. And a lot of times people want to sell something and they want to go from 0 to 100. And they kind of miss the journey. The journey is getting them to know, like, and trust you. And part of this is through the other systems and providing value to them. And so a little bit about me, I have a background in IT, and matter of fact, I have a video for you. It probably explains it a lot better than I do. So let me load this up for you.
I'm the not so boring LinkedIn guy. I have an IT background. We actually do IT projects. I did stuff for Coca-Cola, Xbox Mobile, Harry Potter, and a bunch of cool projects. And the business was going really well until it wasn't. So I'm in Atlanta, and Atlanta is a place where they have big tax deductions for these companies.
Goodbye, Silicon Valley, and hello,
Instead
Atlanta.
of using the agencies, they brought the agencies in and cannibalized them. So I had to find work. And the first place I went to was LinkedIn. And I soon discovered that I was a terrible dater, like a dater in real life. And so I had to learn how to slow date. So I was really good with systems.
If you need to seriously convert on LinkedIn, you might want to take a look at this.
I developed a system to slow date with businesses on LinkedIn. So if your business is trying to grow on LinkedIn or you're trying to grow your brand, feel free to reach out to me because I'm the not so boring LinkedIn guy.
Thanks, guys. So I put that video together, and I don't know, hide that. There you go. So I put that video together just to explain what I do. And I see some notes going on there. Yes, video and voice notes, yeah, they are extremely effective for generating conversations. And the point is that people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. And if you can get them to know you a lot faster, that trust factor also follows that. And so there's a number of systems that we've put together and some systems that we don't use. And every client is a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that presentation and kind of show you what we have going on. All right, so this is the full guide. If you want the guide, go ahead and click door prize. If you type in click for door prize. If you type in door prize, we'll give you all the prizes the slides, the free software, and the daily LinkedIn guide there. But there are three main areas. And the first is actually the most important. You want to develop a value driven strategy first. And that's much different because a lot of times people want to sell their stuff. And selling your stuff may not be valuable to the other individual. And so instead of getting in a transactional type of thought process, again, people have to know, like, and trust you. You have to understand what is valuable to them. And usually, what we do is we try to establish those three tiers of value. The first one is providing information and help for free. That's a lot of your content, that's a lot of your meet and greets. Those are things that people can look at your stuff, look at your post, understand, see your messages and emails and all those different channels to see some actual value. And that value usually helps them lower their pain or solves a small problem. And your best customers are usually people who are lurkers. So they're not necessarily the ones that are always commenting and always engaging. They're looking at your stuff for several months at a time before they ever hit you up. The other thing is multi-channel sales systems. Now, when I say sales system, sales is kind of like a dirty word. So I don't like selling. I like providing an environment where they want to buy, and it's a much different thought process. But by having multi channels, it really allows them to reach that individual wherever they're at. Because some people are not on LinkedIn. Some people don't respond to emails well. Sometimes you want to combine things like native conversations at a networking event. Sometimes you want to do an email blast. Sometimes it's an email drip. Sometimes it's a DM, and sometimes it's something of value that you provide them in real life or maybe in a piece of content. And the third thing is increasing volume and personalization. So you can have multiple channels, but everyone knows that if you are driving business as a small or medium-sized business here on LinkedIn, you have a volume capacity issue. And there's a lot of ways to increase your volume and doing it in a way where it's really well accepted. So I'm going to switch this around here. And there you go. We'll just swap it out on these guides here. I wish there was one way to do it so it's a little bigger. This might be better. There you go. All right, we'll do that. And I'm figuring out where these buttons are because this technology keeps on changing. So again, you need the guide, the tools, and advice. So when you're doing value-driven strategies, what you're really trying to figure out is what is valuable to that other individual. And here are some examples. And matter of fact, maybe I should make that one a little larger. We'll swap it around here. There you go. A little bit easier to read. Door prize. I got a couple of people saying door prize. All right. Oh, you just want to see the CRM dashboard. Well, we do have a CRM dashboard, and we'll get to that. We actually built a CRM right in our Scoop application, and an extremely simple dashboard for that CRM. And it's because most people don't want to actually develop their CRM and set it up as very technical. And at the end of the day, what you need to do is remind yourself, who do you need to talk to, when, in what format. So anyway, going back to value-driven strategies, it could be a guide. So a lot of times, like I'm giving you a daily LinkedIn process guide. So you can change that, pick what you need on there and convert that and use that on a daily process. A tool is like my software Scoop, for example, is not an all-in and be-all, but it is a very strong relationship building and sales tool. Advice. A lot of times when people book a meeting with me, like a short meeting, a 20-minute meeting, they're just asking how to fix a particular problem, or they'll provide what their pain is. And if I can solve it right then and there, I will, because there's only three things that can happen from that. If I solve their problem, I've reduced their pain, so they either they either like what they're going to do and resolve it, and they'll never talk bad about you. The second option is they'll look to the left, they'll look to the right, and realize that Troy solved this problem, and now there's 21 other problems that he can fix, and they hire you. And the third is if they feel like they don't have the budget or can't afford you, you can ask them for a reference. References are actually more powerful than any system that you have because someone else tooting your horn gives you much more credibility than you tooting your own horn all the time. And I see a couple of things without having do zaps in 3 different softwares. Oh, well, I don't think there's one. There are huge CRMs that have a ton of stuff, but Scoop is its own software. And we have other softwares like Sales Focus that does a lot of the automation for emails and text and outreach and that sort of thing. So yeah, you do need probably several softwares or one big one that has to be set up in a certain way. Let's go here through here. And if you want to talk shop, Lisa, go ahead and drop this link in there. I'm going through these things pretty quickly, but if this is something that you need, that you have to have an in-depth conversation, feel free to grab some time. And if you can't find the link or in the chat, then feel free to go to my profile and book some time on there. Now, this is what a lot of people's calendars look like. And this is what your calendar, what you want it to look like. It's really about building a system or systems that fill in your calendar and not with just tire kickers. And there's a lot of processes in order to do that. One thing is to slow down the number of meetings. I realized when I turn everything on from content creation to outreach to emails, I've gotten over 50 meetings a week, and that's just ridiculous. I can't talk to those many people, and I have to dial it back, and I have to be a little more selective on who I need to talk to, because at the end of the day, I also have a business to run. So it's not all about meetings, but your meetings is what's generating your business. And if Garrett was here, he would be talking about once you get that meeting, how do you convert a lot of those things over? Well, first things first. Let's start with an easy way to reduce your pain. That's one thing I just talked about, how to reduce that other person's pain. And if you have a mindset of just helping those individuals, that will go a long way with the trust factor. So you really have to figure out a 3-tier system. Tier 1, free information, free advice, either in the form of content or those short one-on-ones to solve or reduce the pain. Tier 2 could be a low-cost product where it doesn't take a lot of thought to purchase. Scoop is a good example of that. It's like $47 a month. If your client is worth $10,000 a month, I think it's kind of a no-brainer, especially if I do free consulting for that and training for that. And my third tier is my 90-day client acquisition system, where we build systems for you based on what you need. We train your people and we let it run for an entire year. So you get enough runway for the conversions. So you have to figure out those different tiers of value there. Another thing too is a lot of people do a shotgun blast where they're targeting everyone's my customer. So you really have to hone it in and to figure out what type of people in what particular market and then how to target them because they have similar issues. So when you're doing outreach, you say, I don't know what to say. I can fix anything, Well, that may be true, but you don't want to be known as a flea market. You want to be known as that expert that fixed that problem. And if other problems arise, you're already in the mix. So you end up getting business, ancillary business, by having the original problem being resolved. And that's one thing a lot of people think, that they're good at everything. Yep, Garrett's absolutely right. Having a clean targeted list is very important. And there's different ways you can do that. let's take a Sales Navigator, for example. If you have Sales Navigator you're targeting, most people don't use it well. And I just had a meeting earlier today with another LinkedIn guy. It's James Manson, and he chatted in here, and he showed me a trick that was really powerful. And so the goal is not to have the biggest search. You actually need to tighten that search up to, anywhere between 800 and 1,500 people, and you want to reduce it. So instead of having 27,000 people in that target market, you want to reduce that list, because LinkedIn Sales Navigator tends to get a little wonky after the 1,400 number mark. And this is a big thing. What is valuable to me is not necessarily valuable to you. And so when we're having these meetings, we want to see where are those areas that we could provide what they consider valuable. So most salespeople would say, buy my stuff is valuable, but it may not be, because if someone comes to me and say, oh yeah, I'm not getting email deliverability, for example, right? I know email fairly well, but I am not an email expert. I can say, is your email set up this way? Have you purchased your mirror domains for your marketing? Have you warmed it up? I said, okay, well, this sounds like the issue, but to resolve it, I'm not the expert for that, but maybe I can introduce you to the person that can fix that problem. And I'm sure they can fix that pretty quickly. And again, I may not make any money off of that, which is fine, but I'm resolving that issue and you're building that trust. So it's not what's valuable to me, it's what's valuable to them. And that is a huge concept, and it's a foundation to it's a foundation to move forward to actually attract business. Yeah, Garrett's absolutely right. Small targeted lists also allow you to make messaging more personal and relative, or what is it? Relevant. He said relevant. That's a relative. All right. So value can come in separate different forms. Again, ongoing content, post, specific guides, softwares or tools, advice on how to address a particular pain, introducing them to specialists, other people that can solve a problem better than you can. So I always believe I should stay in my lane, but my network, is my net worth. And so I want to share that wealth. These are a couple of channels of influence, things that we work with, and I'm going to go ahead and maximize that a little bit. And I'm going to show these here. So on our 90-day program, which is not really it's 90 days that I'm interacting and training your team, but it's a whole year program. We want to set up multiple channels. Now, it may not be all these channels, but these are some of the channels that you can do. We want to touch on your CRM. 50 to 70% of your business is lost because people don't have a CRM. They don't know when or how to follow up like a human would. And so you have to follow up when people are interested and to keep their interest. And some of these bigger deals, we deal with small, like on my IT side, we are bringing in IT projects as well because we build systems. I've done Fortune 500 company websites and systems and apps all the way down to startups. And a startup website could be like $4,000 or $5,000, and a specialty, app could be up to $1 million. Well, do you think I got $1 million project within a week? No, it took enough runway to do that. So CRM is important. Social media campaigns. So if you're posting, what are you posting on? And then why are you doing that? Are you solving issues? Are you generating feeling? Are you generating a way for people to think? Is your content pretty consistent? I post 4 to 5 times a week. I see people that post a lot more. I don't know how they do it. I have a team, and they're very good. And so I kind of put out the marching orders, and they do a lot of the heavy lifting for me. So it's good to have teams, email drips, blasts, and newsletters. So these are 3 different things. An email drip, it could be a warm sequence, and it could be cold email. And cold email is actually really powerful for things like if you have an IT company and you want to bring in projects for your IT type things and apps and websites. A blast is good if you have a large number and you want to push it all out. Things like SendFox Server is a really good software for that. Very cheap, affordable software for email drips. Things like um, what's it called? Sales Focus is really good for sequencing. A lot of LinkedIn stuff too, and newsletters is kind of like a blast. So it's just a different style. I don't do regular newsletters. I do have a LinkedIn newsletter, however, and it does pretty well. I have like I don't know 4,000 people on that newsletter, and so LinkedIn does some work for you on that, and it generates a post as well. Your LinkedIn profile. I should have put this first. Um, when you send a connection request out to someone on LinkedIn, there's about a 50% chance that they'll look at your profile. And if your profile is not really aligned with their values or it is not, understandable, it's not visual, there's no reason to them to connect with you, then you have just reduced your connection rate. A lot of people won't connect with you because they may never see the invite. Other people might not connect with you because they may view you as competition or they just don't want to deal with whatever it is that you do, you know. And so your LinkedIn profile has to be developed in a way where it aligns with your ICP, which is your ideal client profile. So the person that you're reaching out to is what your profile should be speaking to. And then once that's aligned, you can start in your searches because it makes your searches a lot easier. Online events. This is an online event. We have 350 people registered for this thing. What happens with an online event? Well, we have 300 I think it's 400, 340 something people registered for this event, but we can scrub for emails. We can talk to all the people in the chat. We can send people in-mails. There's a lot that you can do on an event, and a LinkedIn Live is replayable. So it's you can do replays. So we see typically there's actually more replays than the actual people who watched it the first time. So that's pretty important as well. LinkedIn in-mail campaigns. That's another thing. There's lots of things you can do. We use the in-mail campaigns to reach out to people on groups that are interested in some of the things that we do. And we say, hey, this is an event. Feel free to join if it makes sense. So you can use in-mail campaigns for introductions, pre-conversations, before connecting, increasing events. In-mail allows you to reach a person even though you're not directly connected to them. And if you have Sales Navigator, you'll have X amount of credits. And then you can probably use a lot more if they accept the in-mail. And then you also have a lot of people that have an open profile. So when you pay for a service on LinkedIn, like Sales Navigator or any of those advanced services, it typically allows you to send a free message to another person that also is paying. And you got to think about that. Well, if they're paying, then they're more likely to engage in business. LinkedIn first level campaigns, those are people you already know. You may want to reach out to them for a quarterly or a conversation. If you have something brand new that you want to share to a segment of your population, that's important. So I had 30,000 connections. I had to actually reduce them to get more connections, but I don't want to blast 30,000 people. I want to reach out to a certain segment of those people, and I may create a list and then vet that list to make sure that those are the right people, and then send campaigns to them. Of course, you have the connection campaigns as well. One thing we do with connection campaigns is we combine system with personalization. And if you do that, you increase the conversions of a lot. I'll give you an example. Say you could generate a list that you want to connect with people. And the first message is usually the most important. So you wait a day and you use something like Scoop to send them a personalized interaction, like a little video. And creating a little video is really powerful. You have 2 lines or maybe 3 lines of text, a short 20-second, 40-second, 60-second video, and then you title that. That's what we call a little sandwich. I've increased I increased my 20%. I increased my no, excuse me, on that one step after they connected. I waited a day. I increased my 3% conversion to a vetted book meeting to 20%. Now, these are high value conversations. And so to increase 3 to 20% on a single step and not the whole system, it's a very powerful thing. And if they don't see it, you can send your other message or your follow-up messages after, and they'll still see the visual on there. So that's actually pretty powerful, creating a way that you personalize the interaction. And the reason people will reply back to a message from video is because it looks a little raw. It looks like a real human, and you took the time to do that, and they've already connected with you. And so all the stars are aligning, and your ask, is thank you for connecting. Well, welcome to the network. I know, John, that you're doing A, B, and C. I do this. I'm not sure if that's any help to you, but I always tell them I have an awesome network. And if you have time, feel free just to take a look at my LinkedIn profile. And if you see anything there worth talking about, send me your booking link, and I'll schedule on your calendar. And in a 20-second video or a 60-second video takes 20 seconds or 60 seconds. It's a one take. You do it, you tile it, you move on to the next. And so in actuality, it takes less time to do a video than think about all the things that you're going to say. And especially on Scoop, as it has stored messages, like a stored welcome video that you can start the template from. And then you can make a few line changes and then move on to the next. Because at the end of the day, you don't have all day to do these things. Let me see here on the next screen. Did I pass a screen? Oh, no, so this right here is just showing an example. This is not any campaign in particular, but this is to give you a visual of what is possible to fill in your calendar with vetted book meetings. So right here on the left, it's LinkedIn, know, like, and trust. You can have different campaigns from new relationships, existing networks, beyond your network. If you can move from LinkedIn to email, you can create materials like your videos, images, your posts. You can use those on LinkedIn for their social media, IG, Facebook, YouTube, and all that sort of thing. You can have emails that are, touch base on new stuff, quarterly updates, you name it. And so there's a lot of different things. So this is showing you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is showing 10 different campaigns that can happen on a single account. Now you can have also other systems that are separate from it, but this is to give you an idea of what's possible on a single account. And so volume is a big issue sometimes with LinkedIn. That's why you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. If you do, you're limiting on the volume that you can, and also the opportunities for personalization. And of course, a lot of times less is more. And so what most of my clients do is they have about 3 to 4 channels maximum. And some of those channels happen automatically. And certain ones of those channels, they interact with it personally until, and combine that with some of the different systems or different sequences as well. And so if you have slightly a diverse set of channels, then you're actually reaching them out to different channels, so you're top of mind. And that's really important, to say, oh yeah, I saw I saw them on Instagram. I saw a post on LinkedIn. I got a DM from that same person. I do need this. I need whatever this person's having. And so you need to identify where your ideal client prospect is. I mean, if you're not on LinkedIn, then maybe you shouldn't use LinkedIn, you know? And the second thing is, how do you get them to respond? You know, of course, I mean, most people are on LinkedIn, but there are some examples. For example, if you want to target CEOs of Fortune 1000 companies, right? Don't use a DM because it's not going to work. Um, let me see here. There I am. The camera was missing here. Yeah, so if you are reaching out to Fortune 1000, you know, CEOs and stuff, they're not going to reply to you on LinkedIn because they're in a different category. Those people only use LinkedIn in reverse to check you out and that sort of thing. So where is that Fortune 1000 person at usually? Is it a network meeting? Do you need to contact and run up the ladder to meet those other individuals that are involved in those projects? Do you need to get into his ecosystem for smaller projects and build that relationship up? You know, that sort of thing. So you really have to think about how, where that person is and how they communicate. Again, we talked about 3 channels or more. More the I wouldn't say more the merrier, but you need to have enough to have more of an omnipresence for that particular ICP. And here is an example of what we're doing within the 90-day program. Some visuals here, connections, first level, you know, in-mail, online events, LinkedIn profile. Again, I should have put that first. Email drips, blast, newsletters. I usually do the blast. Social media campaigns. Let's take a look and talk about your profile. I get about a little less, well, between like 1,700 and 2,000 views a week on my LinkedIn profile. My profile is a channel. It's a two-way channel. So think about anything that people see and they interact with as a channel, right? And so there are people that see that and they want to talk to me and they come and connect with me because they have an item or a problem that they need to solve, or an opportunity like a partnership. Another thing is social media campaigns. Now, I know some people that do really well. I do fairly well on this, and I would say that ends up being about 20,000 views a month, you know, on average 20 to 30,000 views a month. So all in all, between the profile and just my content, and then maybe my DMs as well, I get a lot of views. I don't need a client from every one of those views. I only want to work with people that I can help support. So not everyone is an ideal client. Not everyone needs what I have. Not everyone, you know, needs to be a premium client. A lot of people can say, "Hey, I just want that tool, a simple CRM." Now, there was a question about this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and show a little demo. I think it's this screen. Yeah. And I'm going to open up LinkedIn right here. And I'm going to look up Garrett. Oh. There you are. And a quick demo, and I'm not going to go spend too much time on this because you can get it yourself. So this is Scoop. It sits on top of your browser. It's not just for LinkedIn. It's for a lot of other platforms as well. It allows you to produce instant video. You can have a quick message. You can drop it in real quick for connections. You can do, you know, a lot of cool stuff. You can do voice memos, animated GIFs. So not everything requires a video. Sometimes an animated GIF is just fine. But it also allows you to do content creation. And I won't get into that, but you can, with a single line, you can produce the content for a post. We just added this, and this is pretty powerful. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab his information and save it, right? And now I'm able to put him into the CRM. You can add a task or a deal, and just to give you a better visual, we'll log into the CRM, and then there's pipelines and deals. And so you can move one person to another. You can add this person to the deal. So I want to associate with Garrett. I just added him. Here's the deal name, qualification, all this other stuff. I'll hit back, and you can keep track of that. And then that way, once he's in there and you create tasks for them, it'll allow you to have a micro CRM on there, and it'll let you know that if I go to like the homepage, I have these tasks overdue, and I need to jump on this for whatever reason. So this has a really powerful tool, as well as the ability to record videos and then convert a lot better on the DMs and email, Gmail, Microsoft 365, Outlook, and all that sort of thing. So don't want to get too much involved in that, but just wanted to give you a quick overview, the power of a CRM. I'm sorry, I was reading some things here. Let's see, stop screen sharing. There we go. And what happened to the other? I guess we'll have to add it back again. Okie dokie. So I'm going to try to get through this real quick. And it's now allowing me to move this thing over here. Maybe I need to reduce it so I can see the little play button here. I can't move them over. Is there maybe an arrow? Oh, this will work. I think when I changed it, all right. Okay, so these are examples of how can I come across as putting effort in. So when someone is talking to you and they want to work with Troy or they want to work with John, why would they want to work with Troy before John? Well, maybe Troy puts in more effort. Maybe Troy cares about this individual. Maybe I'm a little different. I'm bluntly direct, so my clients like that a lot. For example, instead of coming off as fully automated campaigns, try a daily process. Split out an hour or 30 minutes a day, do some human things so people know that you're interacting with them. And because a lot of people will see bots, they'll understand that. But if someone actually interacts with you, let's just say, for example, they interact with you you interact with them on their content. Well, if you send them a connection reply request the following week, you went up from your 30% all the way up to 80% chance of being accepted because they remember. Then you could say, hey, John, I really appreciate the post about A, B, and C, and would love to connect if it makes sense. You're in the mix there. And you always want to hyper personalize before automation. So the example of hyper personalization is me taking time to do a video for you. That is a type of personalization. Another thing could be something totally different. Like if I need to catch an attention of someone, it could be, I have these gifts that embroidered his name in it, or a bottle of wine and that sort of thing. That's actually a personalized gift as well. It really depends on your budget and the type of clients you do, how much time you have, and all that sort of stuff. Instead of just doing a boring email drip, try incorporating video. So if you have an email campaign, let's use a cold email campaign, for example. My first emails are pretty simple. They're permission-based, no links. The second one, if I'm bringing IT projects in, for example, has a cool little video of me showing a portfolio. Hey, these are some things we're doing, and it's very direct in that respect. It doesn't always have to be direct, but in this respect, either they're interested or not, but it's a very visual video, and it's done with Scoop, by the way. And you can incorporate Scoop inside the email. The third one is more of a personalized email where it's more like that facing, and it's very just me talking to them, thanking them for your time. I said, this is what we're doing. If it makes sense to have a conversation, yada, yada. We had pretty good conversion rates on that when we ran our test, and we're about to implement other campaigns just like that. And this is just giving examples, of course. Um, well, that's the same examples I just talked about. And so the second one could be a visual portfolio. The third one could be a thank you. It's really about being human. And here are two examples of it. If you get the PDF, there are links to these videos directly, but these videos are embedded inside the actual email. And so they click it, it goes to the video, but you have a little animated thing and a little link on there, and it comes across very. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing the same clothes I did last month on there. If you take a look, if you take a look at my clothes, I'm actually wearing the same one. So I do wash this shirt though, by the way. So don't worry about that. It's kind of funny that I did this presentation several weeks ago. Let's see what's going on here. Another thing is people complain about LinkedIn is the volume. And so they want more and more and more. Well, you should have more that is way too small. You should have more within reason. So if you're putting out junk, if it's considered spam, well, the volume will only increase the spam. So if you're putting out junk, you're putting volume out on junk. And so again, you have to go back to your foundation of your 3 tiers of value. And are you fixing a problem? Are you fixing an emotion? Are you making people think a different way? And then you approach volume. Well, one way to do volume is having a team that has LinkedIn accounts, of course, and then running campaigns and funneling those in. Another is cold email. People say cold email is terrible, whatever. There is a very specific conversion on cold email. So volume is helpful as long as you're targeting the right individuals and have those right emails on that, and you're not too pushy. So volume can be done on social media. I showed you 7 different was it 8 or 9 campaigns happen on a single account. Volume can happen on cold email. Volume can happen in email blasts. That can be, you got to be a little careful with that so you're not burning your list there. And in different formats, messages go out and let me see here. Yes, so don't randomly blast unlimited messages out, because you have to separate yourself from the noise. Yep, you do want a good balance between quality and quantity. Yes, Dennis, there will be a recording of this. You go back to the same link. And remember that image I showed you with all that fancy stuff? Well, this is an example of 7 to 9 campaigns that happen on a single LinkedIn account. And it doesn't have to be LinkedIn. It's just an example of, you can move from LinkedIn to email to text, and that sort of thing, or from one platform to another. It really depends. Some people sometimes look at their targeting on LinkedIn and it goes straight to cold email, and I can say that we did a test, a short run test, and we were putting out like, I would say 400 maximum emails a day. It's not a lot, but it's kind of on the higher end. And we set up all the subdomains properly. We did test for 1 week. I think we got 7 meetings out of that one. We just did a quick test to run the numbers. And once the email sends out, it has a longevity of X amount. So 1 week of emails has about 2 weeks of longevity. And those 2 weeks, we obtained, I think, 7 different meetings. So imagine if it's compound week per week, what the good meetings that you can have. Email campaigns, mirror domains. Who knows what a mirror domain is? Type in yes or no if you know what a mirror domain is. Well, most people don't. So what that is if you have your email and then you're using your email for campaigns, you could damage your email, because email rules are much tighter. They're much more The rules are much more strict. They're pushing people to the spam box and the marketing box and all that, and they're not hitting the inbox. So what you end up wanting to do, and this is a tip, is purchasing email domains that are similar, and then you want to warm those emails, then create emails from them, and then warm them up 2 to 4 weeks. And then, of course, set those emails up properly, the STK, DKIM, and the DMARC and the other item. There's 3 different items that you set up properly, and you warm that email up. And the more emails you send, the higher rate that your email will be damaged, regardless, just because of volume. And so you want to protect your company and protect your domain by purchasing and setting up those emails properly and having good email campaigns. And the more targeted you are for those campaigns, those people are very specific that would most likely want what you have, or have a conversation about you, or build that relationship. The less damage you're going to do with that. And that's why you do things like incorporating video within the second and third. But you noticed I didn't say anything about any links or any visuals for the first email, because you want to get it in the inbox. This is a couple tricks of the trade there. Now, all these systems, we really didn't talk about partnerships. There's a billion, with a B, a billion people on LinkedIn. And if someone views you as competition, well, maybe they're not viewing it properly. There's plenty of customers for everyone. And that's just on LinkedIn. I'm not talking about all these other systems, direct search on email and other platforms and other social media, but just on LinkedIn. And so your biggest asset is building partnerships. If someone is another LinkedIn person and they have a program, that's either similar to mine or different, a client that comes to me, or a potential client, may not be a good fit for me. And I want to hand them off to someone that will treat them well and they'll be successful in. Because I'm not for everyone. I do the 90-day program, which is actually a year program. I find that has the most success because it has multi-channels, this and that. But some people have a budget for, I need to do this 1 month thing. I need to do this month per month, type of stuff. And I don't want to do a longer cycle. Well, maybe another program would be better, and I could hand that off. Had a conversation again with the other LinkedIn gentleman, and he said, I love your software. I'm going to check it out and maybe show my other people on it. And I said, great. He's helping me out a great deal, because we're both LinkedIn people, but Scoop is not a LinkedIn. It's not only LinkedIn. It's about building relationships, and it's a sales tool. So it's a relationship building and sales tool. And again, we talk about value. If you want to fill in your vetted, booked meetings, you have to provide value first, because that way a large amount of people will come to you. And thank you for joining us. This is kind of a open-ended question time, and I'll look at the chat, and I'll make this a little bigger. I'm gonna swap that around. And so I got 3 things for you, and there's a little scan code. Feel free, you can scan it right on your phone right now if you want to schedule some time for a chat. But I have this entire document with the channels and everything that we talked about. It's a PDF, and I thought, what did we say to go ahead and type in? Door prize. Type in door prize, and we will DM you or email you. And if you want to connect with me, feel free to say I was on your event today, and I will accept your connection. And the third thing is, if you want to DM me and ask me directly, in case I don't get to you fast enough or my people don't do that, go ahead and DM me. I'm always open. The LinkedIn Daily Strategy Guide, very important. Having some organizations is a lot better than having none. And then having a lot of organizations who get in and get out is super important. And Scoop, our application that I think in a few days we're adding that CRM built into it at no additional charge on it. And if you want to give it a try, give it a spin for a month for free, and we'll give you a code to make sure you can get in for free. And if you keep it afterwards, you just, I think it's like half off or something like this, $20 or something like that. I'm not too sure on all the prices. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'll stay on here for another minute or two. If I don't see any questions pop up, I'll go ahead and drop off and wish everyone an awesome day. So like the awkward moment, right? All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and feel free to reach out if it makes sense. And I hope that all this information you absorbed enough to understand that the importance of providing value, having multiple offers from low to high, and then also having multiple channels. Um, Oh, that's a great question. What can people expect to achieve from the 90-day client acquisition program? Um, Typically, what happens within the first 3 to 4 months is that you triple your business. So, say you're starting out from 3 and running up to 10K a month. If you're at 10, you want to move that 10 to 30,000 and so on. And so the volume by itself, let's just take the IT programs. We're doing that ourselves. We've already picked off from 1 week. We're already picked up 2 IT clients from this program. We've already have 2 people that we picked up a client 3 weeks ago, and we weren't even advertising this. And yesterday we picked up 2 yeses. So Monday we're closing those deals, and that's quite a bit of money. To be completely honest with you, I took a dip in all my pay because I was working on Scoop, and I'm just ramping up myself, and we're working pretty darn quickly, and we're converting really quickly. So I'm going from pretty much zero to about 20K a month within 30 days. But that's me because I built the system. So that's not realistic. And I'm going to move up to about right about 30K a month within 60 to 80 days. And that's just my goal from what I want, because I can't take on any more work. So I only take on a few of the 90-day programs per month to make sure that everyone is getting what they need and their systems are set up properly, even with my team. Great question, Garrett. Anyone else? All right. Lisa, thank you for your support. Garrett, thanks for the awesome questions. Dennis Bruce, it's nice seeing you again. And feel free to reach out anytime. And I want to go ahead and say thank you to everyone. Alexander, I appreciate the question. Hopefully, I showed you enough on that simple CRM. You don't need to get started. Joe, I'll send you that door prize. Joe Matt, thank you very much. Ben, I appreciate that. I'll go ahead and send that to you. And Michelle, I definitely will send you the door prize as well. Mike, thank you for joining us. And James, thank you for the meeting earlier today. Great advice that you provided. And thank you. I think James is doing some awesome stuff, and I'm really excited for other people just to see Scoop. We had Scoop open. We launched it about 4 or 5 months ago, very soft launch. And we've had about 400 users thus far. We're trying to get it up to 10,000 concurrent users. So concurrent users and users are not exactly the same. It's usually like half of that. So we have about 200 concurrent users and about 400 users. And so thanks, everyone. I'll go ahead and drop off right now, and have an awesome day.